Hello guys, welcome to another session. In this session, we are going to look into access modifiers. So what is access modifier? Let's jump into the discussion and we will understand that what actually access modifiers is, and we will understand with an example as well. We will look into our journey. So far we have looked into the object oriented concept, then we have understand about Python classes. After that, we have looked into what is class variables and method is. Then we have also seen that what is a static variable. Then we have looked into class inheritance. Then we have also looked into overriding of a method, how to do override method. Now we came to topic access modifier. So access modifier is again belonging to object oriented concepts. So first understand that how many types of access modifiers we have, then we will understand that what actually it is. So basically we have three types of access modifiers: public, protected and private. So public, what is public access modifier, what is protected modifier and what is private modifier? So definition wise, access modifier is a mechanism to control the access to class resources by public, private and protected keywords. And these things happening within C++ and Java. But within Python, there is no direct mechanism to do the access modifier controls, as Python is an hybrid language. C++ and Java is a object oriented language. But Python has given us a way we can achieve access control of class resources. So to understand it better, let's jump into a Spider editor and we will learn with an example what actually it is, so that you will be more comfortable about these jargons, access modifiers like public, protected and private. So let's jump into a Spider editor. So we are now in a Spider editor and now we will write some example and then we will understand that what is public access modifier, what is private access modifier and what is protected modifier. We will take an example of same employee class. So here we have employee class and then we need to initialize a constructor, and here this time we are going to take the name and the salary, and this time we will assign these value, whatever the value when we are initializing an object, when we are passing those value which is going to initialize it. So here then we are passing the salary and we are assigning it. So now load it into memory. So run it, shift into run it. So it is loaded into the memory. Now suppose that if we are going to create an object, for example emp1 equals to employee, and here we are passing my name and some salary over here. So here we are going to access this salary, and if you try to run it, we can print here and we can print the salary over here. If you will do that, try to run it, then you will find that we are able to access this part, this resource. So this is a public access modifier. We don't have any kind of access restriction to access the value of salary. So this is a public access modifier, and by default Python supports public access modifier. So how do you can achieve protected access modifier? So let's understand the what is protected access modifier. Prior to that, let's understand that how do we can create a protected access modifier in Python. To do that, what we need to do, we are going to use the same class, the same name, and here we will use a single underscore. That is a representation of protected class in Python. So just remember that if you want to create any class variable as protected, so you have to use this single underscore. So what does it mean? So basically what will happen that this resource is accessible by employee class and their child class. No other than that. Any other class is trying to access this salary class, then they will not able to access this as it is protected protected means it is accessible by the class object, and if it is inherited by other base class, other child class, then it will be accessible by that child class. So for example, an employee can only know the salary of himself, and other person can know the payroll department. So here what we need to do, we need to create a payroll, and here we will inherit. You remember that what is the syntax to inherit class? So we use the name of the class over here, and here what we need to do, define a method, a simple method, sal generation. Now what we will do, we will create an object to access the salary from employee, and we will also create an object for payroll which will access this salary. So let's run it. So now if you try to create an object, employee, this time we are going to pass some value, and we will try to access the salary. This is protected resource of class, so we will write it like this, and when you try to run it, then you can easily access that value. There is no restriction for the class where this salary resource belongs to. They can access the class resources. If it is protected or if it is public, can easily access from outside. So outside means you have created an object and you are accessing that salary. Now moving further, you can create an object for payroll now. So P1 equal to this payroll, and here you can pass an object. We will try to pass the same value which we have used earlier. So debit, and this time we are to write 4535 as well, 345. Now try to run it. First we will load this one. Now we have loaded into memory. Now we will run it, execute it now. Now we will try to access the salary part. P1 dot salary, try to run it. So this is accessible by the child class. So here we have seen that how a protected resource is accessible by the object of a class and their child class. So now moving further, we will now look into the private access modifier. So what actually private access modifier is, so let's understand it. But prior to that, we will create a class and we will create a resource which is a private resource. So how do you define a private resource? So let's look into that. To define a private resource, you need to use double score. So what does it mean? First copy it and come below and paste it. We are going to use the same. So now to define a private resource for a class, you need to use double score. So instead of that, we were using single underscore for protected, underscore for private. Now we will run it again and we will create an object. So here now what we have to do, to come here and we will create an object E2 and employee, and here Mary, and then you need to specify the salary. So here now you can run. Suppose if you want to access the salary of Mary, and if you try to run it like this, then it will throw an error. So let's look into that. Try to run it. So what it is telling, that they are not understanding what actually it is. Why? Because it is a private variable, and private variable is not accessible by outside of the class. Outside of the class means we have created an object and we are trying to access the private variable. So you must be asking me, how do I can access a private variable from outside? I will explain you in a better way. So what we will do, we will create a function and we will define it as give me EMP salary. There is a function. So this is the resource within the class. Now this class is having access to this one. So we will use or we will access this salary with the help of this class. So how to do that? We will come here and here we can pass self, and here we will access the salary. Print employee salary is, see over here. Here we can access the name dot, here we can print the salary. So now we have introduced a public method over here which has the access of this private variable. So let's run it and see this is working. Now we will create an object again, and this time we are not going to directly access this variable, private variable. So this time we will access with give EMP salary, and now we will run it. See here we got the Mary salary. Why? Because the resource within the class can access the private resource. but from outside we can't access it. If you directly try to access this underscore salary, it what it did, it throws this error. So what we have done, we have introduced a method. This method has an access to this part, and we are calling this method, so that the reason it is returning the salary. I hope you enjoyed this session, and this is what I wanted to show you in this session. See you in the next session. Bye bye.